After the earthquake came a fire, but the Lord was not in the fire. And after the fire came a gentle whisper.
Whispering Winds Catholic Conference Center was founded by Dr. Jerry Teasy and Don Kogis, a retired NBA All-Star.
Our kids didn't want to go. They were used to going to more expensive places, a little more glamour at the beach or Hawaii or New York or Las Vegas even. And they didn't like the idea of going to a camp with their mother and father, a Christian camp of all things.
United with a vision of the founding families, in 1978, 161 acres of land were acquired in the Cuyamaca Mountains.
It was all very lovely, and then we had our first camp. And we were eating outside and picnic tables, and the kitchen. Well, I was one of the cooks. I don't cook, but I was one of the cooks. We had a tent cover for our kitchen. We had a hose with a spigot on it, and that was our water. Don Costantino had organized and put it together somehow with portable stoves and ice chests, and we fed all these people.
In 1985, the first weekend conference was held at Whispering Winds. Father John Powell led a couples retreat, using tents for the meeting hall, kitchen, and dining hall. Guests stayed in motorhomes, trailers, cars, and hotels in Julian, or they drove home at night and returned each day.
We had to bring everything up. There was nothing there. There were going to be over like 100 people, and we had a big propane tank, and we had to cook with these rented stoves. We had water, but we had to bring more water. We had to bring ice. We had to bring everything. And it was so amazing at night. Just sitting there and looking at the stars and hearing the whisper of the trees, and it just filled us with love.
As many caught the vision for this ministry, volunteers began to work together to further Whispering Winds. In 1988, Bernice Mascari and Kathy Brown created the Whispering Winds Women's Auxiliary to provide spiritual, financial, and volunteer support to the camp.
Romans 8:28 says, "And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love him, who have been called according to his purpose."
In 1998, Whispering Winds held its first summer family camp, led by Frank and Bernice Mascari, the theme of which was creating memories, an appropriate beginning to the family camp program that has created life-changing memories for many, many families since.
We ended up with 34 families, 235 people.
And that's how we started with the family camps. But then we had 3 that summer.
3 that summer.
And I'll tell you, well, we aren't going to go into the miracles that happened through those 3 weekends. But it was, I will say that it was the effort of a lot of people.
The mission of Whispering Winds is to provide a Christ-centered environment, apart from the everyday world, where all are welcome to increase their knowledge of and commitment to Christ, and join as fellow pilgrims on their journey of faith with God.
With this being our focus, there is no question the work of Whispering Winds must continue.
Where you hear from kids where the mother says that my kid went to camp, he was so messed up and everything else, and he came back, he was a different individual because he found other kids that basically believed in the Lord, and he did too, but he didn't know quite how to do it or how to share because none of his friends did. And when he saw these kids, he found family. And when you see all of those things happening, it's just it's payback.
This is a place where God's love reaches across generations as we minister to adults, families, youth, and school children. As Whispering Winds founders always said, our job is to provide a space and let God do his work. In taking time away from our busy day-to-day lives, we can hear his voice whisper in the wind.
I volunteer. Drew snow because you could see like light off it, and Jesus is like the light of the world.
I don't think I'll ever forget that powerful feeling of, God, you are so good. You are so good, and you've made a difference. And that's why the camp has to continue on, because it does change lives. I've seen it change old people. I've seen it change young people. I've seen it change teenagers, which is a whole different environment in itself. But working together and giving of our time is important for us to continue to do, and it's important for our children to see what we have done for them. And it's going to be important for their children and so on, because our faith is very, very strong and very important to us. So, yep, the camp we need this camp 100% all the time.
Thanks to the vision of our founders, the commitment of our board of directors, and the dedication of staff, and let's not forget the grace of God, we continue to move forward with a passion for fulfilling our mission. This will guide the growth of facilities. It'll guide the expansion of ministry offerings as together we continue to take church outside for many generations to come.